All right, guys, hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. We had the cameras off. I got a whole dispute going on over here. The Bad Guy Inc. offices. I just brought you guys a commentary on the mindset of Kamaru Usman post-defeat to Leon Edwards. And the pushback is that I didn't tell the other side of the story, which is Leon's mindset. Now, that's interesting. And I am wrong to have overlooked it. And what do you want to do there, right? Because you give a guy a world championship, you just gave him another confidence you don't know anything about. I do not see it as derogatory, and I don't see it as a pejorative to use the word luck. I like luck. But there was a guy that I looked up to my whole life who gave a speech. I was in the 8th grade. He's going off into college, and Mr. Pittman makes him stand up in front of the whole group. His name is Les Gutchess, and Les said, I don't think I'm a very good wrestler. I think I'm a lucky wrestler. All right, great. I'm rolling with luck. I mean, that's the way, that's just my history with luck. This is the guy I look up to, and this is the guy that says that luck is good. I think that luck is good. I don't think that's an insult to say that Leon got lucky. I don't. And when I talk about you give a guy a world championship, you give him a whole level of confidence. The same story is told in every wrestling room in March every single year. It's the story of a young man from Oklahoma State named Mark Branch. Now, Mark Branch had a losing record going in this NCAA tournament. He was not expected, he was not scouted, he was not seeded. He had 7 wins and he had 8 losses. He's not even batting 500. He comes out of there the NCAA champion. Okay, great. You have a guy who's not very good, and I know that because look at his record, look at how he did the Big 8s, look at the seeding, look at the fact that nobody knows about him. You call him a national champ, we'll take care of him next year. No, nobody ever took care of him again. He returned to the championship match every single time. He beat guys who went on to become Olympic champions. He was the best. What was different? How? How is he better? How is that possible? Physically or logically, how can he be better? He's 7-8. He put 5 good matches together. They call him national champion. How could he be better? He went through a tournament. He went through a 3-day grind. He learned to wrestle in front of a crowd full of people. What happened that he was better? He wasn't any better. It's not possible. Well, you give a guy a national championship, you change a guy. Guy starts to get some thoughts about himself. And I think that that's a very real thing for Leon, and Leon hasn't really let us in on that. Leon was very celebratory and is happy in the moment. He did it for his coach. He did it for his country. He did it for his mother. I mean, it was just this beautiful and very sweet thing. But now that that's done, I would be very curious where Leon is at. Some guys will use success as a springboard, and some guys will use a level of success and they will stay steady. I had this talk in 1998. I was on the wrong side of the desk. I was the athlete, Coach Chuck Kearney, and I had a great tournament, right? I became what they call an All-American, which is it's a real accomplishment. I mean, people really dream of doing this. I was one of those guys, but Chuck said to me, Chill, you acting like you got everything figured out. This is either going to be a springboard into something else, or you're just going to be happy and content that you're an All-American. I was that one. I was too. I knew it when he said it. I didn't want it to be true. And I fought like hell for it not to be. It was true. I didn't use it as a springboard, but I remembered he said it, and I've judged other people on it. I've watched other people. What is Leon going to do with this championship? Great example, guys. You remember that big old tub of guts that lost, or he beat that athlete boxer that I'm always giving out, Anthony Joshua. Andy Ruiz is his name. Andy Ruiz goes out there, boom, boom, he beats up Joshua. He knocks him down more times than I've ever seen somebody knocked down in a fight. I think he put him down 4 times, literally. If I'm wrong, it was 5. It might have been 6. This was all inside of 4 rounds. He beats him off. They go. They do a rematch. Big money fight. Big rematch. Whole world's paying attention. Ruiz comes to the scale. It was like 30 pounds. It might have been 50 pounds heavier than he was the first time. And I remember when I saw that, and I remember saying, Ruiz, I know what you're going through. I went through the same thing. Coach Chuck Kearney talked to me about this in his office at the Casanova Center in 1998. You did not use your win over Joshua as a springboard. You settled. You rested. You had done that. It was enough to tell the grandkids, and off you went. And I'm only sharing, right, We're not passing a judgment on Leon. We're not putting him down. There's 2 ways you can go. There isn't 3 ways. There isn't 5 ways. There isn't 100 different things that could happen. No, there's not. It's either a springboard. He either looks at that match, he realizes where he got frustrated, he realizes where he got pinned down, he realized that he was backing up, and it was his lack of aggression that got him taken down. It's very important that he knows that. I mean, as we're all watching the fight as viewers, we're going, hey, if you're Team Leon, go that way. And every time you go this way hesitant is where Kamaru stalks you, gets you by the fence, and drags you down. In round number 5, instead of backing up, you went that way. Oh, and by the way, you now got a 12-pound gold belt, right? I mean, it's just the right way to go. Is that how Leon looks at it? Does Leon agree? Is Leon stubborn and he's not listening to that? And I had a strategy the whole time, and it was the backing up and it was the rope-a-dope. I don't think so. I think that would be very foolish. But he's in a very rare spot. How many of us ever going to become world champion? They gave Mark Branch a national championship and nobody could deal with him again. He started believing these things. He started believing in his skills. Now he's a whole nother set of problems. Went to the national tournament with 7 wins and 8 losses. He never got eight losses. The whole rest of his career was spanned over 3 years. There wasn't 8 guys that even came close to touching him. But what do? You give a guy a national title, you build him up. You give Leon a world championship, you build him up. I think that his mindset would be fascinating. He's not got a chip on his shoulder. He's not angry. He better get there. I mean, he truly better get there. You guys will remember one of the great performances was by Aljo. But it was Aljo versus Jon. Aljo was the champion. That's not how you guys remember it, is it? That's not how the story was told. That's not how Aljo told the story. I spoke to Aljo 3 days before that fight. I'm not trying to name drop. I spoke to Aljo 3 days before the fight. And I came and I told you guys, he didn't know he's the champion. He does not know that he's the champion. He does not know that he's out there protecting or defending. He's out there to claim. He's out there to bring down. He's out there to get the championship. And it's a very different performance. And again, there's not 100 ways to slice this. There's not 50 ways. There's not 10 ways. There's 2. There's only 2. Is it a springboard up? Is it enough and you sit steady? And Leon's mindset and Leon's celebration, I don't know the answer yet. But I would be curious. I would like to hear from Leon. And I know you're on cloud 9. I know you get that 15 minutes. But at some point, you got to settle back down. You got to get back in the gym. And whether you win or you lose, you still have to learn. There was a lot of moments and a lot of positions that turned into rounds that were not going your way. You got to identify why. You got to see what's different moving forward. But we've also seen some guys with a level of success, they turn the whole thing around. Did you see Figueiredo Moreno Part 1? Did you see Figueiredo Moreno Part 2? That was not the same guy, right? But it was the lessons learned. And what do you do with it? I don't have those answers for Leon. But I sure as hell like to have them.